Let's get right to Edward Lawrence with the recap at the White House, what the president just said, Edward.
Yeah, Liz, some 23 minutes there, the president. We've come to really, expect this from the president as he's leaving. Took questions on a whole range of topics, but first and foremost on his mind was the hurricane that's bearing down on Florida. He said with Dorian, he's going to get updates while he's at Camp David. He said it's a little too soon right now to say that the state should be evacuated or what parts of the state need to be evacuated, but he's going to be looking at that. The president also saying he's going to come back on Sunday because he has meetings here in Washington at FEMA talking about Dorian again. The president did declare Florida a national emergency or approved the national emergency declaration for Florida, and that puts FEMA in the position to help out. Now, he also talked about tariffs. The president talking about China, saying that the tariffs have put us in a good position to negotiate. It's really important things that he's talking about there. He said that if it was not for the trade talks there, he does believe that what's happening in Hong Kong would be more violent. So he believes sort of connected there. President going on to say that he's helping the farmers out, $16 billion in aid this year that he's given to the farmers to help make them whole. And that's his term, saying that he will continue to help the farmers. He does say that in Hong Kong, he says those people want liberty and freedom. And he said we'll learn a lot more about what's going in Hong Kong over the weekend here. He was also disappointed back here at home talking about James Comey, the former FBI director. He said he was disappointed there were no charges there. However, he said that he did support his Attorney General, Bill Barr. He believes that Bill Barr is a fair person, and this shows it, that former Attorney General was not, or that former FBI Director James Comey was not charged in this. Also, USMCA, the big one here, the president saying that he wants Pelosi, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, to put USMCA up for a vote. He says that she will do the right thing. He also believes that Democrats will vote for it in a bipartisan way. He thinks this is a good agreement, pointing out that Mexico's already ratified this, and Canada is on the verge of ratifying USMCA. So a wide-ranging press conference here, Liz, almost a press conference as his departure to Camp David. Back to you.
We've never seen a president handle anything like that. Edward Lawrence, thank you so much for being there.